I'm a console.
And I'm a PC.
And we're the only way
To play games.
There is no other way
For people to play games.
Wait a second, please. Aren't you forgetting about me?
Who the heck is that guy?
I'm a smartphone, and I actually make more money on games than both of you combined.
Wait, is that actually right? Yeah, that checks out. Smartphone games represent 49% of all gaming revenue last year.
I think it's high time you started paying attention to me. Here's a fun mobile gaming fact. In South Asia, 70 to 80% of gaming revenues come from mobile games.
I wonder why.
I'm sure you're dying to know why that is. And as it just so happens, I've got a call with someone who's been working on that same topic. From Tech Asia, I'm Alfie. Let's dive in.
My name is Mehnaz Irtika, and I'm currently working as a contributor at the Daily Star. The number of mobile users in Bangladesh is rapidly growing, and especially with smartphones, and it has been making advancements since the last 10 years. We can see different games right now that are published, such as Heroes of 71, different simulator games, and even Annihilation.
How come our mobile games so popular? Isn't it much better to play a game on a dedicated console or even a PC where you can have a fuller resolution, better sound, or higher resolution graphics?
Mobile games is seen as something that's very convenient. You can get it at the palm of your hands whenever and wherever, whether you're traveling in the metro or you're stuck in the traffic.
Consoles and PCs are quite expensive. Unless you really care about gaming, most people are probably going to go with what's in their pockets already. Fair enough. Besides, handheld consoles are quite popular as well.
Mobile gaming used to be considered as something that was meant for perhaps the younger generation or the older generation, but now it's not just the grandmas playing Candy Crush Saga or little children on their phone and on their iPads anymore. Mobile gaming specifically is something that brings them all together, irrespective of their gender and the backgrounds.
That's actually a really good point. Gaming in general has a reputation for being a really toxic community. Mobile gaming has a huge mainstream appeal, and these new players that came in are actually part of a reason why gaming has become much more inclusive in the past couple of years.
When we talk about monetization, the first thing that comes to mind is Google, whether it's from in-app purchases or it is from the Google AdSense revenue.
Let's go over this in more detail. So game studios have three choices when they want to publish a game. First off, publishing a game with an upfront cost. That isn't quite popular in the mobile space because people are used to just downloading a free app. So the second option is in-app purchases. Let's take Candy Crush as an example. Candy Crush allows you to play a certain amount of rounds per day. That is, if you're a free user. If you decide to pay for an in-app purchase, you can buy boosts or other power-ups which allow you to have an easier time with a game or not have to wait. There's also advertisements.
To monetize on these games, which are all technically free to access. And while you play the game, you watch an ad for 3 seconds or so, and then they make a profit out of it.
In that case, it's likely they'll use Google AdSense, because Google represents about 90% of all advertising on the web.
In Google AdSense, there are different tiers, and Bangladesh falls in the tier 3 category. The revenue streams are definitely lesser than, let's say, perhaps tier 1 countries like US, UK, Australia, and so on. The cost of marketing and the cost of publishing the game also comes lower. A lot of mobile game development companies are partnering up with local phone manufacturers to even embed their games into the locally manufactured phones.
Preloaded apps actually have a really long history. Games like Solitaire, Snake, or Minesweeper all have had a huge success because they were pre-installed on their systems.
Naptech games have been receiving proposals even from Google for partnerships on their games. So this is something that is definitely big for the whole mobile gaming industry right now in Bangladesh.
But with any advertisement supported or free-to-play media, there's always a few issues that come up. First off is how they handle personal data collection. Games and other applications can actually collect a shocking amount of data about you and sell it to the highest bidder. This has become a hot button issue with regulators around the world. And secondly, is gambling.
There are certain games, they end up promoting gambling with the loot box issues.
Loot boxes, which are in the process of being banned in Europe for being too much like gambling for children. You basically draw something and get a random assortment of items, which is quite addictive for young minds.
This is something that should be definitely regulated by a proper regulatory body. As I've spoken with the managing director of NAPTEC Labs, the managing director's own words were how the current legal frameworks are not enough to support the publication of a game. So we definitely need to advance in that sector. There needs to be a whole legal framework established to ensure that none of these things happen. The target customer is not just the local regions. The bigger portion of the customer base is placed outside of the countries. So there will be bigger games that we have known over the years. They have had Bengali developers working in the backend. Their work is being outsourced. So definitely that is something that is a staggering point to mention when it comes to the development because most countries really focus on the local homegrown games. With proper initiatives from the government and training sessions and more awareness from the people in general, we can have a prosperous future in this sector and it definitely we can say that the game is on.
That's the end of your free energy for this week's Tech Asia.
Don't worry, if you wait another week, you'll get another free episode.
That one was actually a helicopter simulator.
And if you just can't wait, well, you can go check out one of our old episodes.
I don't know, why don't you check out the one that we did on hospitals recently and about how surgeons use remote work?
Take care.